All right, good evening, YouTube. Welcome to episode 24. We'll be going live here in just a moment. Stay tuned.
I'd like to thank everybody for checking out our YouTube channel each and every week, checking out our shows. So
we have audio and video available.
Audio and video. So appreciate all the views and support that you guys click on and listen to. I know sometimes
like that Facebook page. We're approaching 200 likes here, so give that Facebook page a like. D&D Sports Chat on Facebook. All right, you ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Talk shoes. Recorded live.
All right, everybody, good evening and welcome to episode number 24 of D&D Sports Chat, coming to you live from the studio here in Garden City, Michigan. It is Wednesday, August 3rd, 2016. Already August.
Goodness gracious.
Dog days of summer already approaching. And I am your host, Derek, as always, this week, and my co-host, Mr. Dan Bartley. Danny, how's it going?
Going well. How about yourself?
Hot. Another hot day. Another hot one. Very, very muggy.
We've
been getting this like up and down scale. Like, you come back from up north and it was like so nice. It was in the high 70s and no humidity. And then you come back and this week has just been constant heat and just being muggy and just, God, I'm ready. I'm not saying I'm ready for summer to be over with, but just a little bit of a break in the weather. Just a little bit.
70s would be just.
Yeah. High 70s with low humidity. But
humidity is what gets you. I
hate
all the bugs.
The moisture.
Eaten alive by mosquitoes. It's so obnoxious. It really is. It's atrocious when you're hanging out late at night, trying to have a little bit of a bonfire, a little gathering outside. And you're just getting eaten alive.
Exactly.
And everybody, you got bug spray in those eucalyptic candles.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you don't want to douse yourself in bug spray all night. And then you smell awful.
Yeah, I definitely don't recommend taking a shower if you're going to have a bonfire. But, definitely something. I mean, bonfires, there haven't really been many people having them because it's just been too damn hot. It is too dry.
It's too dry out there.
I mean, we've gotten rain. We've had a few, decent downpours around here. But, I mean, for the most part, I mean, we really need a little bit more moisture on the ground. Grass needs it. Flowers still need it. What have you. But anyways, so we start out every week on our shows with the question or the odd story of the week.
That could be a question shortly.
Yeah,
we can make some every now and then.
This is really not so much of an odd story, but you have been kind of adamant about fishing as of late.
I did go and go fishing again.
Newburgh Lake.
Newburgh. Right there where you can, the beautiful police station's right there.
Yep.
And don't worry, did it legal. Got the fishing license and all that good stuff. So we went fishing early in the morning.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. bright and early. Everything's perky or whatnot, right?
Mm-hmm.
They say in the morning.
Well.
So there was this gentleman that was next to us.
Yes.
And he had a cooler. And I thought the cooler was filled with, sandwiches or beer or whatever your favorite beverage is. No. As he was catching fish.
Bluegill, and specifically.
Extremely small bluegill. And keeping them. And I didn't like that because it's like you're killing off the species here. Because he probably caught like 20, 30 fish.
Panfish.
He was just throwing them in there left and right. And then I happened to, my first catch of the day was a perch. I caught a perch.
Yeah.
Wasn't of decent size. I did end up catching 3 perch this day.
Nice.
Nothing was worth note. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I saw the one in your video. I mean, it looked it wasn't that big.
There's nothing to write home about and go, oh yeah, that was Moby Dick or anything.
No.
But this guy was catching Moby Dick all right over there and keeping him. And it just kind of blows my mind. It kind of makes me angry. And now I get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, why are you catching these little fish And it kind of got me like, I'm not
And they're not, I mean,
fish
they're
expert or anything like
bluegill
that.
are edible. They're not the greatest in flavor. You don't have
that
people,
small.
save it,
You know how much work you got to go with cleaning those bad boys?
Yep.
And they're extremely small.
Yeah,
there's
like
no meat on them.
Yeah, it's not like catching smelt where you can just cut the heads off.
Not to mention, it's coming out of Heinz, where you find dead bodies.
I wouldn't be eating fish out of there.
I don't think I'd eat anything out of Heinz.
No.
Personally. That's just my own perspective. But I had a great time. I was a little bit annoyed by that guy. When I caught that perch, he was looking at me because everybody around, if they were catching something, they were giving it to him. I'm like, I'm not giving you my... No.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Fill up this little cooler.
This perch that I just captured here is not going in that
with you. Yeah.
No.
It's going to be thrown back into the lake.
Let it get bigger, and then be my guest. But
yes.
Not to mention, hope the guy gets poisoned.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I don't want anything.
Not that cold-hearted, yeah.
But the guy was just, goodness gracious. The thing is he was not catching nothing himself.
Right.
He caught maybe 2 or 3 himself.
He was probably getting a little bit frustrated.
He was using shrimp as bait.
Well, I mean, that's...
I'm no
worms
expert
aren't
fisherman.
working, so...
So, anybody that listens to this show, this is the question. I'll throw the question out there. Where in Michigan is a decent place to fish? And I know Kensington is a great place. I know Higgins.
I told you about... I mean, it's not even that. You don't even have to go to, like, big lakes like Houghton or Higgins or St. Helen. Like, honestly, you go to places like Morrow Lake that's, like, just outside of Higgins. These small little creeks. Like, you could catch, like, freaking pike in a creek. I mean, it depends on where you're at, the location. You don't really want the most busiest or the most populated fishing area because they all get scared away very easily. But you just want to find, like, on the side of the road, you can get out, going down Old 76, heading up north to my cabin. There's times where you can get out of your car and just pull off to the side and go over to, like, a little bridge or an overpass and fish in a creek. You know, I mean, it's not really, you'd be surprised. I mean, there's perch up there, there's pike, there's bass, trout, you know, I mean, plenty of bluegill, obviously.
Sure.
So, and bluegill's not really that's not no trophy fish by any means.
It's
I mean,
not.
I remember when I was a kid, bluegill was like all I caught, and you got to be careful because of their sharp fins. But
yeah, that's one thing that I discovered quickly.
Is that why you were wearing them gloves? Because you were wearing them gloves, and Mike sounded like he was making fun of you.
Here's the thing:
what
I'm new to the fishing world. Okay?
I guess so.
And I had a hard time taking the hook out of one of my fish.
Yes. Because they're squealing.
I don't want to rip its guts out, for one. I don't want to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fragile person. I'm a gentle giant.
I mean, sometimes they'll get in there.
I'll be honest. I'm not a pansy. You can call me that all you want. I don't really like touching the fish.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid of the fish biting me, especially a small fish like that.
Right.
It's just, I don't know.
I know. I was never a fan of touching them either. Like when I fished,
coming from a guy that used to own piranhas, I know that sounds pretty ridiculous.
And, you know, you're into worms and frogs and whatnot. I mean, you know, and amphibians, gators, but yet you don't want to touch a fish. I mean, there's some people that are like that. I mean, when I was younger, I didn't like touching fish, but I mean, I did it. It was sometimes like people will put them down and they'll actually step on the fish to get the hook out. You don't want to do that because you have a chance of killing them.
You're going to kill him.
Yeah.
Especially the fish that we were catching.
Mm-hmm.
They'd have been dead.
So
not of decent size, but it would have been great now that I've caught these little small fish. Now I'm ready to see what I can do with something of decent size. And I made the joke that I caught Moby Dick because I did catch Moby Dick of the day because out of everybody that was there for that 4 or 5, yeah, give it to me all you want. For those 4 or 5 hours, I did catch the biggest fish. Because there was a bunch of gentlemen, there was a bunch of kids, teenagers, and they were all catching these little bluegills, and I pulled that decent-sized perch out of the water.
Fishing off of a dock is not necessarily where you're going to get your best catch, because a lot of your bluegill, they swim close to shallow waters. You want to go, I mean, that wasn't necessarily deep water that you were fishing in, so you really want to get like an actual either a rowboat or you want to get like just a small, even a kayak. You can rent kayaks over in Hines, for a small fee and take them out in the water. That's probably what I would do. I mean, if I really wanted to go out on Newburgh Lake, I'd probably take a kayak.
It's still a good time,
there.
and you can, where the dock is, at a certain point, you can cast kind of in the middle of the water, depending on how you cast.
I knew exactly where you were from where the dock was.
It was a good time. Like I enjoyed it. Getting up early kind of stinks a little bit. It's fun.
Early bird catches the worm, so you got to get up.
Early bird catches the fish.
Mm-hmm.
But, I had a good time. It was, I'm not an experienced fisherman by any means. I'm definitely a novice, and I don't know much. So It's not something I grew up doing. I grew up in a baseball field or a hockey arena. So fishing is something that's kind of new to me, but I'm trying to catch on. I'm trying not to do this stupid thing. And
yeah, it's a nice hobby.
It is. Once you get everything, once you get the poles and everything, it's fairly inexpensive. Besides, of course, if you're going to do it legally, getting the fishing license. But that's that, and we can move on from that.
Well, aside from fishing, we have our Detroit Tigers that we were talking about. And right now, currently, still 0-0. We're in the 4th inning. Tigers are up to bat. Chris Sale, as we expected, it is a pitching duel, and Fulmer's been excellent. 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 strikeouts. Sale, 3 innings, 5 strikeouts, 2 hits. So, and I think I predicted this. I said that Sale would probably shut us down early. If we were going to get to Sale, you got to get to him early because that's just
once he
gets hot. Yeah, any pitcher for that matter that's an elite status like Chris Sale, once they get settled in, they're going to probably be lights out for the remainder of the game. Now, last night, granted, James Shields was pitching like a superstar for the first 3 innings, and we finally got to him in the 5th, and that was due to come. I mean, he wasn't going to have a repeat performance like he did in Chicago against us, but Chris Sale, the Tigers have hit early and often earlier in this year. And I feel like, tonight, though, I kind of have them losing. I feel like the streak will end tonight. Granted, because I feel like just right now, the offense is going to eventually cool off, which it has. Strikeouts already from Maben, Cabrera, Martinez, Avilas. Not Justin Upton. Justin Upton does not have a strikeout in this game. Out of the 5 strikeouts from Chris Sale, none of them have come from Justin Upton. So
crazy.
And Justin Upton, as we've talked about in recent weeks, has started to really turn a corner. Got that average back up to 243, striking out much less than what he was a month or so ago. July was a very good month for Upton, batting in the high 280s. So I feel like the power numbers definitely have to increase a little bit. They got to get up there, but I feel like Justin Upton is starting to hit like the potential that he had when we first picked him up.
And he's a guy that I did predict early on at the beginning of the season to strike out 200 times.
125 right now.
And he did strike out last season 159 times with the Padres. So it's not completely out of the question. It wasn't an asinine prediction.
No.
But the guy does strike out way too much. But good for him that he's kind of turning the page a little bit right now. The second half of the season's been a little bit more pleasant for him. And he has to contribute. Now, with the Tigers starting to roll on all cylinders, Cabrera's hitting, Martinez is hitting, JD's coming back, Ian Kinsler's been the steady production machine that he's been all season long at second base. So the Tigers have all systems go right now. But is there a concern still with that bullpen? Obviously, last night, you've seen the implosion, furthermore, of Mark Lowe.
Yes. And thank God they brought him in there with a 10-run lead.
And that's the only thing that you can bring him in.
That's why they did that. To take some of the pressure off of him, you do that. And that was a smart move by Osmus. The game was not necessarily on the line. You had a 10-run lead. You bring in Lowe.
You're hoping he has a 1-2-3 inning, which of course he didn't. It's just remarkable because the guy has good stuff.
He does.
It's
a way to harness it.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's a mental thing or if it's a mechanical thing with Lowe, but he's struggling all season long, and it seems to be the Lowe experiment has been turned sour. Pelfrey, unfortunately, is injured right now, but
he was starting to turn. And I told you.
I'm not sold on Mike Pelfrey.
I know. I'm not a Mike Pelfrey. I'm not a fan of his. I'm not a hater per se. Mike Pelfrey is a guy that I said, probably a couple weeks ago when he was you were like, there is nothing good about Mike Pelfrey. Nothing. Meanwhile, it looks like the Tigers are up 1-0. Castellanos just singled in Cabrera. Or actually he doubled on a line drive from Chris Sale. So
Castellanos had a day off yesterday.
Yeah. And I was going to talk about Castellanos. We'll talk to him in a minute, but as far as with what this bullpen is about, obviously you bring in a guy like Mark Lowe in a low pressure situation, but that would probably have been my only thing to do with the trade deadline but you can't really trade away anybody on this team. They were not going to touch the starting roster. You're not going to trade Joe Jimenez for a rental bullpen piece. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So
why part ways with Jimenez when you haven't seen what he features yet?
You have to see.
Bullpen? You got to bring him up, and you got to send Lowe packing.
Lowe does not deserve to be here.
Lowe should not be on the starting rotation. And my biggest concern right now is you're not going to see Jimenez until September call-ups.
He'll be here,
when
I think.
When the
I think he'll
rosters
be here.
expand, Jimenez will be here, and so
Moya.
will Steven Moya.
Moya's probably going to be back up here, and that was a guy that I feel like to get some of the value that he has right now, because you've said this countless times, you don't see him being anything more than a DH.
I do not see Steven Moya with his defensive lapses.
Unless he tries to play some infield.
He's way
not
too
going
big
to
to be an infielder. He's way too bulky. He's terrible in the outfield. He's going to be a DH. His career is going to be a DH. And the Tigers have Victor Martinez. Until Victor Martinez is done 2 or 3 years from now, which is,
Steven Moya
is a
won't
push.
be here. He won't be here.
Steven Moya needs to be traded.
Yeah, he won't be
Moya,
here. No
I do not. There's only one David Ortiz. There's been only one Edgar Martinez in baseball. I don't want a guy that's strictly a DH. That is just absolutely not. You can even throw
a guy like Jim Thome in the picture later in his career.
Jim Thome was able to play first base.
He was.
When he was with the Phillies for many seasons before he moved over to the American League.
Yeah, but even when he was in the American League, he was a Tiger killer. We saw what Jim Thome could do with Cleveland and Chicago.
So there's that. Steven Moya is a guy that I personally would look to trade immediately. I know they didn't trade him away, but he's a guy that I would definitely try to package away because
I don't think nobody wanted him. I really don't.
His value and his stock has got to be tremendously low. I don't think what he's done in the major leagues for a short cup of coffee, he's been disappointing.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a spark when he first got up here. You know, he was hitting a couple home runs his first 4 games, and everybody was like, "Oh, look at Steven Moya," because I think he was like minor league player of the month.
Yeah, he was, minor leagues are different.
Yeah, they are.
Minor leagues,
ask Mike Hessman that.
Mike Hessman leads the Mudhens in
400-some home runs. Yeah,
never had a big league stint worth of note. And Steven Moya could be the exact same thing as Mike Hessman.
Yeah,
that could be
because he has some pop in his bat. If he stays consistent in the minor leagues, that's a guy who could hit you probably 300 home runs in his career. If he's going to be a minor league player,
a lifetime Toledo Mudhen.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Or you try to just trade him away now, where he's got a little bit of value. I don't think Steven Moya has that.
He'd be good on a rebuilding team, maybe a team that's looking for some depth in their roster, maybe in the outfield that isn't really. A defensive team. If you're not too worried about errors in the outfield, then pick up Steven Moya for bag of balls. So
trade him to Oakland.
Yeah. Now aside from Moya, and you obviously know the bullpen struggles. I mean, we got a couple pitchers that just do not belong here. But going back to this starting lineup in the offense, you mentioned his name. He had the day off yesterday, which turned out to be a pretty damn good thing because Andrew Romine just completely went off. But Nick Castellanos, as a guy
Brad Lawson's being an absolute genius.
Yes, right. Yeah.
In the James Shields numbers, Nick Castellanos had terrible numbers, and so did Austin Romine. So I looked at that and I was like, why is he giving the day off? They just had a day off, a team day off. Why is Nick Castellanos in? I went through and I looked at the numbers against James Shields. Yeah. I said, oh.
Not just James Shields, but if you look at his overall stats through like the last, I'll go as far back as 15 games. 241 average in 15 games, 54 at-bats, 1 home run, 6 RBIs, 16 strikeouts. The last 7 games, 10 strikeouts, batting 200, no home runs, 2 RBIs. So he's cooling off, and this is not, and of course he wasn't going to probably hit over 300 by the end of the year, but I mean, if he can still stay around the 285, 290 range, he has the potential to do that. But I mean, this is not the time if you're a guy like Castellanos to cool off. Because, I mean, we need him. We need a guy like him to still hit.
He is going to be that prolific strikeout guy. Yeah. So is Justin Upton. You just got to face the facts. They're not disciplined at the plate. Nick Castellanos is not disciplined. He's going to strike out 8
Still young.
times.
Still young.
He swings at those high fastballs in his eyes and those pitches in the dirt.
Yeah.
That's just what he's going to do. That's just his game. And until he learns to lay off those pitches, he's going to continue to have big strikeout performances. You're just going to have to live with that.
Now, from talking about the struggles of Castellanos and Upton, I mean, now we can talk about some guys that are starting to really perk up at the right time, and I'm talking about V-Mart and Cabrera. And Cabrera, out of anybody, I think, has been the best hitter since the All-Star break. He came out of the All-Star break, he was hitting 18 home runs, batting .294, and now 24 home runs, 1 RBI. Well, he actually just got 70 RBIs, so 70 RBIs and 306 right now. So this is a guy that's probably going to bat .315 at the end of the year, 30-plus home runs. 100 RBIs is going to be close because he's only at 70 right now with roughly 60 games left. I mean, it's possible he might hit 100, but he'll be very close to it. But, I mean, really, in his last 15 games, .420 average, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs. So this is a guy that is really starting to turn it up the heat. And August and September are Cabrera months. I mean, this is when playoffs are on the line, and right now you're only 3 games behind the Tribe. Playoffs are on the line. That's when Cabby steps up, and this is where he becomes like the best player in baseball. And so, we were talking about possibly trading Cabrera when we had not a snowball's chance a couple weeks ago, but now you're in the thick of things. And I guess it goes to show you, man, that baseball is so unpredictable.
Well, baseball is very predictable, and Cabrera was. And you got to come to the realization that Cabrera is going to start declining.
Yeah.
He's at that age where decline is coming.
It's common to happen. I mean, he's 33.
Cabrera is, if you look at the back of his bubblegum card, as Rod Allen would say, he has those statistics that are flashy. Obviously, we all know he's one of the best hitters in baseball, and I still think he has a few good years left in him.
I'm going to go 5 years. I mean,
5 years is a bit of a stretch.
It's a stretch, but I think 4 to 5 years, Cabrera is going to be 36 years old. I think he'll probably retire. I don't think he'll play till he's 40. I think Cabrera will probably retire around 38, 39, just because of all the wear and tear and just because of, power will subside. I feel like when he hits 35 in a couple of years, I feel like the 30 home runs are going to turn to 25, and then we're going to see 25 dip to 20. Just the way it is. Now, is he still a 300 hitter? Absolutely. I feel like this is a guy that can still hit you a solid 300 ball. So if we're going to keep him for the long haul, if Miguel Cabrera plays another 5 years and retires a Detroit Tiger, you're going to have to probably
see why he would.
Yeah, you're going to have to get used to the reducing in power, but still consistent at bats. I mean, he'll probably turn into a singles and doubles hitter, and you're going to have to be content with that. So you can't have a guy hit you 35 home runs year after year for 10, 12 years. It just doesn't happen anymore, especially if you're not taking performance enhancers.
I don't believe Cabrera is.
No,
but,
me either.
And then also, 3-4 years from now, he's going to be a DH. I don't think you can see Cabrera playing first base. Well, first base,
and it might save some years off of his career. I think
if Victor Martinez does decide to hang it up.
Yeah, Victor is.
Then there you go. Cabrera slots right in the DH spot.
Because I'm going to go Victor probably 3, Cabrera maybe 5.
Victor's barely pushing this year.
I know.
Victor's
if Victor can get 2 years in, I'll be happy. It's going to be a stretch for 3, but I think 2 more years.
The thing for Victor is just finish out your contract.
Yes.
With the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, make that money worth something for a DH. We already know how asinine that contract is. Don't try to, skedaddle and leave us having to pay off that contract. So, yeah, it's going to be a stretch, but for the time being right now, hey, this team is gelling on all cylinders. They're looking good. Their starting pitching has improved. Hell, Sanchez pitched a whale of a game last night.
Shocking. Huh?
And when a guy like Sanchez is pitching well and winning you games, then this Tigers team can be dangerous. So,
speaking of starting pitching, and I had to throw this in there. I'm sorry, and I just got to do this.
Oh boy!
And I'm going to show this to you. And I know no one watching at home. Well, until you can maybe YouTube this. Just look at that.
I know. I saw.
Look at that.
I was looking at. Yep.
And
Cy Young numbers
for you at home that does not know what I just showed Derek. I showed Derek Rick Porcello's stat line, which is 14-2 with a 3.47 ERA. Rick Porcello. And I'll be the first one to admit I gave up on Rick Porcello.
Oh yeah, when he left for Boston, you thought that was probably a good move.
I thought it was a good move for the Tigers to get rid of Rick Porcello. I didn't think Rick Porcello would have it in him to go.
Now, when he left here, he was still 26 years old. He was still young.
He's 27.
Yeah.
So he's
25. We left him. He's been with Boston 2 years now. He had a terrible year last year with Boston. His first year was bad.
Right now, in the American League, Rick Porcello on paper is probably in the top 3 for your American League Cy Young.
Yes. And I even read somewhere where Justin Verlander's back in the Cy Young votes. Now, for me, Justin
American
Verlander.
League Player of the Month is for July.
I mean, his numbers, there is a lot. The good thing is that, I actually, on my fantasy team, I have the 2 most productive pitchers. I just picked up J.A. Happ from Toronto. I had to get him because I dropped Doug Fister. But, he's got 14 wins. And, of course, I got the National League soon-to-be Cy Young and Steven Strasburg. But in the AL, it's really wide open because you got guys that have 11 wins. They're 11-6, but they have a low ERA, and then you got guys that are with 13, 14 wins with got over 3. So when you're looking at the AL Cy Young voting, what are you looking at? Are you looking at solely wins? You're looking at WHIP. You got to look at WHIP. You got to look at strikeouts, and you got to look at ERA.
Strikeouts is a nice stat, and obviously if you're looking at strikeouts, Justin Verlander is going to take the cake.
Mm-hmm.
David Price used to be the huge strikeout guy. This year, it's not so much. He's kind of playing second fiddle to Ricky Porcello, which is very unexpected. But Justin Verlander, I believe he's up there in American League strikeouts.
Yeah, 155.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not. That's a nice stat. But if it went alone on strikeouts, King Felix would be winning Cy Youngs left and right when he's healthy. This year, he's kind of been on the rocks, if you will.
Yeah.
But in the American League, it is really wide open. National League is likely going to be Strasburg.
Yes.
Or Scherzer.
Yeah, Scherzer hasn't really gotten the run support, unfortunately, for him. I mean, he's only got 11 wins, but God, it's a shame.
Scherzer's got 15 wins.
Does he? Scherzer?
Yep.
Let me see.
Scherzer won today, had another dominating performance.
No, Scherzer's 11-6.
Really?
Yeah. I just looked at it today. He's 11-6, a 2.85 ERA. He's got 180. His strikeouts are up there.
His strikeouts.
I
thought Scherzer had more wins than that.
Who do you? I'm gonna throw this out for you. Who do you think is actually leading the league in strikeouts? He's in the
National League.
No, in all of baseball. You probably won't guess this guy, but he was actually a talk in trade deadline. Let me just make sure that I had this right.
Most strikeouts in the American League.
I think I was right on this one. Oh, maybe I wasn't. I thought for sure that it was him, but no. I thought it was Chris Archer. I thought I saw that Chris Archer had 200 strikeouts. Does have a boatload. He has 161, but I thought he actually was leading the league. I thought he had 200, but
and Chris Archer is having a miserable season.
Yeah, he is. It's unfortunate
with the win-losses.
But no, this person actually is leading the league, and he actually does come from the National League. 192 strikeouts. Who do you think it is?
It ain't Kershaw.
No.
Give me a league.
National League.
Division. Division. NL West, NL East.
I think it's the NL East. yeah. I know it's not the West. It's the East.
No one from the Chicago Cubs?
Hispanic. Can you believe that Robbie Ray, former Detroit, I'm just saying this. Former Detroit Tiger Robbie Ray has 152 strikeouts and 121 innings. He's 5-11. He's not that great.
Look at the two names you just mentioned, yes. Robbie Ray and Rick Porcello.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you love to have them instead of Mike Pelfrey right now?
Yeah. At least Robbie Ray is good stuff to strike guys out. But no, I'll just let you know. It's Jose Fernandez from Miami is leading the league right now with 192 strikeouts. Yeah, that's the East. And 12-6. He's another guy, Cy Young candidate. It's unfortunate he's in the National League because if he was in the American League, he'd probably be a really good candidate for Cy Young. But it's going to be tough to dethrone Strasburg.
He does have dominating stuff, and we did see him early on this season, and he wasn't quite there yet. He didn't have the crisp stuff that he has. I did watch him pitch in his last start. He was absolutely sensational.
But it's really unfortunate, though, that a guy like Kershaw went down because before he went down, he was leading the National League in everything. WAR, ERA, he was at 11-2. And, he had 145 strikeouts. Kershaw definitely, I think it would have been definitely a 1-2 matchup between Kershaw and Strasburg. But now if you look at all the pitching stats, Strasburg leads damn near everything. I mean, this is both leagues. This is not just National League. He leads in WAR. He leads in wins. He leads in, obviously, win-loss percentage. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. What else is he leading in? I think that's everything. I know, Fernandez's strikeouts. Even shutouts, Kershaw had 3. Kershaw still leads. It's crazy to think, but Kershaw still leads in shutouts. He leads in base on balls per 9. Mm-hmm. He leads in hits per 9. Walks and hits per innings pitched.
As far as dominance goes,
earned run
Kershaw
average
is the most dominant pitcher in the National League. But again, they're not going to give the NL Cy Young to a guy that hasn't played a full season, or at least the majority of the season. And Kershaw is
I don't think he's
done.
And I don't think he's still in line. I think even though he's only missed a month,
he just got placed on the 60 days.
Yeah, he's done. He just got shut down for the season. So really, I mean, I gotta say it's gonna go to Strasburg. I mean, barring something happens. Yeah, Fernandez is I think his only competition. But when you look at the AL, I think you gotta look at 3 names. You gotta look at Sale, Happ, and Porcello. Those are probably my 3 leading candidates for Cy Young.
Not Justin Verlander?
Justin Verlander, I feel like, has to get a couple more wins yet. And I think he needs to get that ERA down. Yeah, his WAR stat is not even amongst the top 10 in the league. So, they look at WAR stats for pitchers. They do it for hitters as well. But he's not in the top 10 in wins.
I want you to look at a name right now. Aaron Sanchez. Tell me what you think. Now, Aaron Sanchez, for the listeners,
Is he with Toronto?
He's with Toronto.
Okay.
He is a guy who has remarkable numbers.
11-1, 2.71 ERA.
Yeah.
Strikeouts, right up there, 118.
Problem, they're putting him in the bullpen. They're shutting him down.
Why? Toronto is in the run for the
going
division.
to throw him in the bullpen shortly. I heard.
Who the hell else do they got to replace him in starting?
Don't know. I am not John Gibbons.
This is a terrible move, don't you think?
It is, but they're going to put him in the bullpen.
They're in the race between for the AL East.
He was before this season a relief pitcher. They kind of want to watch his innings.
Well, same with Fulmer.
They're also believing that he's going to run out of gas because he's never thrown this many innings in his major league career. And that is a question that you have to think about for Michael Fulmer,
rookie,
which you can't really worry about that. I think with the Tigers in the position that they are 3 games back,
go balls to the wall.
With that phrase, you have to go all in or nothing. You got to put your chips to the center of the table and say, all right, we're going to see what you're made of. And tonight you're going against Chris Sale, arguably one of the best pitchers in the American League.
Yes.
A guy that's hungry, a guy that's pissed off. Chris Sale is going to be pretty good tonight. And obviously, Tigers are not going to touch him for that many runs.
Right.
And if they do, I'd be absolutely shocked.
Yeah.
Fulmer has to be that guy that gives the Tigers that 1-2 punch. That I desperately believe that going into a playoff scenario, you've got to have a 1-2 punch. Now, that third guy is wonderful. You got to have that, but you have to absolutely have 2 dominating starting pitchers to win a World Series. Now,
right now, you got Verlander and Fulmer. That's your 1-2 because you can't really put. You got your third. I'll slot Jordan Zimmermann at third, but I have to see how he does at least his next 2 starts to see how well he's healed from his injury.
It should be really intriguing to see.
9-2. He left with a 9-2 record. Yeah.
What he does tomorrow is going to be an interesting sign.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, it's a good test against Chicago.
I think that he's going to probably be limited to 100 pitches.
Yeah, he'll probably only pitch 5 innings, maybe 6.
He's not going to go deep in the game, so
No.
you're hoping Fulmer can go as deep as possible tonight.
Yeah.
But that's the big thing for the Tigers right now is the starting rotation. Obviously, and we'll get into this trade talk right now, whether the Tigers should have stayed pat or not, and we'll get into that segue in. But should the Tigers have made that decision because Mike Pelfrey, yes, he's been good,
But now he's on the
but
DL.
he's on the DL. And he's not a guy that you want as your third, fourth starter going into the playoffs.
No.
Obviously, he would go to the bullpen if the Tigers did make that playoffs
What will you
playoff
find
push.
here?
Oh, I do not know what that is.
As Derek's listening to some weird
Didn't mean to do that.
commercial. But the thing is with the Tigers, they have that lack of fourth and fifth starting pitching. Now, everybody was looking at Hector Santiago,
I was one of them.
Jake Odorizzi,
Yeah.
Chris Archer was a long shot. Jeremy Hellickson was another name that's been out there. None of these guys really moved besides Hector Santiago, who is now with the Twins, who
Makes no sense.
now the Twins acquired him, and
Yeah.
now he gets his first start with the Twins tomorrow against the Indians. So go Hector Santiago tomorrow.
And another one that I really didn't understand was Lucroy. I mean, Jonathan Lucroy basically giving the Indians the middle finger, which helps us out because, that really would have.
That's wonderful.
Thank
you.
Yeah, I'm not saying that would have put the nail in the coffin for the Tigers, but it definitely would have improved a very lackluster spot at catcher for the Indians. They still got Andrew Miller out of the bullpen, solid setup guy, mind you. But Jonathan Lucroy goes over to another contender in Texas. So really,
Texas added Beltran as well.
Adrian Beltran. Really, you look at Texas. They really look like the favorite to go to the World Series for the AL right now.
They have the team obviously
Minus Prince Fielder.
Prince Fielder is just
garbage.
They need to just cut ties with Prince Fielder as well. Like the
I
Tigers
think his career is very
career
good.
has really taken a dive
Since he got
downward
traded.
spiral
Yeah.
that I don't know if he can recover from with his injuries, and it's unfortunate because the guy's got tons of power. It's unfortunate, but thankfully the Tigers made that trade, and we're not concerned with Prince Fielder anymore. We have to worry what Ian Kinsler's doing. So, with the Tigers staying pat, I think that brings a little bit of an issue to the Tigers' rotation. But if Jordan Zimmermann is able to come back healthy and perform at a high level, I'm not expecting great things from Jordan Zimmermann.
Because you got Matt Boyd.
Matt Boyd is not the answer.
He's not the answer.
Daniel
but
Norris is not the answer as well.
But you weren't going to touch those two at the trade deadline.
But if you are going to make a trade, yeah, that's the thing. You are going to have to part ways with one of those, or if not both of them.
Well, you said you weren't going to part with both of them. You didn't. I wanted to part with Norris. I gave you my reasonings because Norris has good stuff. His stuff is better than Boyd's, no doubt. But he also has proven time and time again that he can't be trusted when it comes to being injured. He's very, very fragile. I mean, let's face it. Yeah, he beat cancer. He did great things like with that. But, shoulder injuries, arm injuries, you can't have that. You can't be coming back from injury and then go right back down to the DL. So right now, we kind of have to stay pat with Matt Boyd as our fifth starter. That's just the way it is.
In a perfect world, you'd hope that, and this is just in a perfect world, and I hate to say this because I said this earlier on in other shows that I've done in baseball shows, that I don't want to see Anibal Sanchez throw another pitch for the Detroit Tigers this season in the starting rotation. But he has been decent lately. Now,
will you feel confident going into the playoffs with Anibal Sanchez as your, because you only need 4. Think about the playoffs. You don't need Mike Pelfrey. You don't need Boyd. You can throw these guys in the bullpen if you have to.
Boyd would be that good lefty specialist.
Yeah,
Norris as
throw him out,
if healthy.
Yeah, get him in the bullpen, and that will be the case. I mean, we thought that we would see Sanchez in the bullpen for the remainder of the season. Obviously, I thought it was a good move, but now you brought him up. 2 out of his last 3 starts have been solid. So there you go. You go into the playoffs with Verlander, Fulmer, Zimmermann, and Sanchez as your 4.
Now that I can live with that. It's extremely scary.
Especially if you have to play game 163 in a wild card.
Sanchez has been so rocky all season.
Oh, God. It's a roller coaster with Sanchez. Definitely.
So you're pushing the panic button with Sanchez.
Yes.
And you can't trust him in a big game situation.
No. You would not. You're in a game 7. You're in a game 7 of the ALDS. I'm not even going to go World Series. I'm just going to say a deciding game 7, and you're in the game in, let's say, the 7th inning, bottom of the 7th inning, and you got the bases loaded, 2 outs. I'm not trusting Sanchez to get out of a jam. It's just the way it is. But I don't trust the bullpen anymore. I mean, the only guy in the bullpen you can trust with a bases loaded 2 out situation is Frankie, and if it's not a closing situation, I have my doubts. So.
There's a few names down there in that bullpen that could be efficient.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say lights out, going to get you out.
Yep.
The Tigers need to get Joe Jimenez up here in the next week or so, and you need to see what he has.
Mm-hmm.
I know September he's going to be here, but why not throw him in August? Why not see what he's got? See what he's able to do when it matters the most.
So you bring September call-ups, obviously you get to expand your roster, so nobody gets sent down. So you're basically going to have Jimenez come in and take over.
Jimenez is going to be here this season,
no
matter what.
He will.
I want him here now. I don't want to keep seeing Mark Lowe go out here. I don't want to waste a guy.
You're not going to send Mark Lowe down
when the game is 11 to 4
yeah.
or whatever it was last night, and the Tigers have an absolute blowout, or the Tigers are getting absolutely shellacked and killed 9-3, and they bring in Mark Lowe to get an inning or 2 just so he can get some work in.
And not
Keeping
even do
a guy on the active roster for that instance because you're hoping that he can turn it around is just bogus.
Yeah.
You need to send him down. Jimenez needs to be up here yesterday. There's no excuse for that.
Moving forward to the offense, J.D. Martinez back on the bench for the Tigers. He will start tomorrow. It's already been announced. So with J.D. going back into the left field.
Right field,
I'm sorry. What is this going to do for – well, you got Cameron Maybin's in center, right?
Maybin's in center. Justin Upton's
left. So you kind of – who's been rotating right field? Has it just been like between Mike Aviles, and then who else? They've had
Stephen Moya has been out there for a cup of coffee. You have just –
So with that being said, I mean, JD, obviously you get that power bat in your lineup that should bring another spark to this team, just as Cameron Maybin did, when he first, and he's still batting a solid 320. So this, I feel like, is why the Tigers did not make any moves to the trade deadline. Al Avila was smart. He was very cautious.
Getting Zimmermann and Martinez to come back, so it's like you made a trade, but you really didn't.
But do you see Martinez struggling coming back?
Absolutely.
You have no confidence in Martinez? You feel like this was
in JD,
do you feel like this was rushed?
My biggest concern is that he comes back too early and he re-injures himself and then he's done for the season, and then your playoff hopes are still there without him, but he is a guy in this lineup that will make everybody around him better.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, he's going to come back, and he's going to come back flat, and he's not going to be used to Major League pitching. No matter what he did in Toledo in his rehab stint.
He was decent in Toledo.
It's
Toledo.
But take that with a grain of salt.
But it's Toledo.
You don't want a guy that absolutely just goes down there and hits 180.
No.
But you want a guy that's going to
stay competitive.
You go down there, you do your time, you get your hits, you catch a few fly balls, you make sure that you're not in any pain and there's no soreness or stiffness. Right. So there's that. But he's going to come back, and I think he's going to come out struggling a bit. I don't see him coming out tearing the cover off the ball. But it would be a very pleasant surprise and a welcoming sight that he does have some good swings tomorrow. He's going to be going against a lefty in Katana, I do believe. So
yes.
that's going to be a tough test. Katana's no slouch. So it's going to be a little bit of a test right out of the gate. What is he feeling? How is he feeling?
Right.
And is he 100% is the big question mark.
Mm-hmm. And we discussed this before the show. You don't think he's going to be 100% for the rest of the year.
I don't think that he is.
I think he's about 90. I think 90 will get you probably through the end of the season.
He's got to get that timing back. And
yes.
and the Tigers are chasing the Cleveland Indians right now. Things are as close as they are. Tigers are playing good baseball. Everything's clicking.
By the way, Minnesota is beating Cleveland 8-2 in the fourth.
So there you have it.
Something's obviously going on with Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland is a little shell-shocked.
Yes, they are.
Roy decided to,
I think,
as you put it, give them the finger.
Give them the finger. And has Andrew Miller even played yet?
Andrew Miller is there, yes.
But has he actually pitched?
I believe he's pitched into gamers, too.
Oh.
Cleveland's not had any winning success lately, so Andrew Miller hasn't really been used a whole lot.
The thing about right now, Chris Sale, update real quick. Still 1-0, top of the sixth. Pitchers duel, 4 hits apiece. Chris Sale has 7 strikeouts. Is at 71 pitches through 5 innings. Looks like he'll probably go another 2. I think they'll probably chase him in the 7th. We'll see.
You'd like to get that pitch count up, but
yeah.
That's
71 through 5 is pretty average.
It's pretty. It's not.
I mean, it's a little elevated. Usually you want to be around 60 through 5, but
depending on who you are.
I mean, this is a pitcher's duel. This is what we kind of expected coming into this game. Fulmer so far has held his ground and is keeping the White Sox at bay. So, but you got to keep this up. Do not pull Fulmer. I mean, if he's only at like 80 pitches through 7, keep him going. You got to be fragile a little bit.
You want to watch his innings kind of.
Yeah, you want to watch. Yeah,
but you also
the pitch count matters more than innings.
You got to realize. And you got to come to terms with yourself. And Brad Ausmus has to ask himself this question.
Yeah.
What's floating around in Brad Ausmus's head? Oh, my goodness, I could only fathom. Would you rather have Michael Fulmer with 85 to 95 to 100 pitches? Or would you rather bring in the Wilson brothers? Would you rather bring in whoever
Mark
else?
Lowe.
Mark Lowe's not coming in this game.
No. Depending
on the situation, I think you want to give that confidence boost to Fulmer.
Yeah.
No,
well, we saw that a couple starts ago.
But also you want to make sure that you protect him. You also want to make sure that I'm not the guy that's going to be the Matt Harvey, like the New York Mets of old, and want to protect, or the Steven Strasburg situation. But you want to make sure that your young, talented phenom is not going out there and throwing 115, 120 pitches.
No, he's not Justin Verlander.
Obviously Justin Verlander is capable of that, and he'll tell you he is, and he doesn't want to come out of the game.
No.
And he'll tell you to bleep off.
Yeah, but Fulmer has not earned that amount of veteran prowess yet to say
Fulmer
that.
is the young superstar, but he has not earned that yet. And I think Brad Ausmus would take the ball from him in a situation like that. As good as Fulmer has been this year, he is still a rookie. And the sky is the limit for him, for his career. And that's what makes me so excited as a fan.
It's looking, I think that from what we've seen this year, I'm not saying this is a one-off year for Fulmer. I feel like this is a guy that can win you 10 to 15 games a year with his stuff if he stays healthy. He's going to continue to evolve.
He's going to win the Rookie of the Year this year.
Oh, he is. Because the competition really is not really all that, debatable. I feel
obviously in the NL, I know Trevor Story's out for the season, but I think Trevor Story might still get it.
I think he will. Yeah.
After his absolutely huge first half, and Fulmer will probably get it in the American League.
Yeah, I feel like he got an all-star snub, but for the same token, rookies they don't really they get kind of looked past upon for little rewards like that. But Fulmer has just done, great work. I feel like if he had a little bit more run support in a couple games, he probably could have 11 wins right now. But I feel like he'll probably end up getting 12 or 13. I think he'll probably finish 12-4, somewhere around that line with a high 2 ERA. And that's just a phenomenal rookie year.
That's acceptable. Absolutely.
Yeah, very, very much so. Not everybody can be Justin Verlander in their rookie years, winning 17 games and pitching the World Series.
And
but
Justin Verlander came out and he was just throwing the ball in his rookie season.
Yeah.
And he was top in 97, 98, 99, 100. Fulmer seems to be a little bit more disciplined. And Fulmer doesn't throw. He's already mastered his mechanics, and that's why I'm so high on Fulmer. And it took me until just recently to be fully sold
you
on Fulmer.
You were not warming up to him like I was.
I've seen Chris Shelton. I've seen these one-hit wonders of Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And you want to be excited about a guy, but you have to see more than a small sample size.
And his sample size is growing.
And now that you're starting to see what Fulmer can do against good, talented teams, and he's able to go in Yankee Stadium, he's able to...
With all the pressure, he's played under tremendous
he's
pressure.
Winning some difficult... He's had a lot of road starts. He's had more road starts than home.
Yep.
And I'm happy enough to say that I was able to see one of his home starts, so that was a blessing, able to see Michael Fulmer, because he hasn't had very many home starts. So I'm sold on Michael Fulmer, and I think that he is going to be that guy that leads this Tigers team into No, I'm not going to say future. I'm going to make a bold prediction right now and say the Tigers will make the playoffs. I'm not sure if it's going to be a wild card bid or the Tigers can catch Cleveland.
They're only half game out of the wild card.
Cleveland is absolutely falling apart right now.
Yes, let's hope it continues.
And I didn't think Cleveland would fall apart this quickly.
Not necessarily like all at once. I felt like Cleveland would go on and they wouldn't not necessarily get swept by teams, but they would go out and maybe they would lose series. They would either split a series here, they would lose 2 out of 4 here, or they'd only win 1 out of 3. But, I mean, they're on their verge of getting swept big time by the Twinkies. I mean, and this is not a time to get swept by a team like Minnesota by any means.
But here's the thing where Cleveland Cleveland fans, and this is not a Cleveland Indians podcast, but where Cleveland fans can still have hope and they can
breathe a sigh of relief.
And why I'm still concerned is because Corey Kluber, Carlos Carrasco, Trevor Bauer,
Andrew Miller
acquisition, Michael Brantley coming back. Hopefully he can be productive. Mike Napoli's tearing the cover off the ball.
Yes.
They have a lot of talent. So it's not that they're going through a rough patch right now.
Which they haven't had to deal with all year.
This is the difference between the Detroit Tigers and the Cleveland Indians. Terry Francona knows how to get it done. He knows how to turn a clubhouse around. He knows all about slumps. Terry Francona, quality manager. And that's why I'm saying wild card bid. Because he's going to turn that team around again.
What's the final game? What is it going to be? We're 3 games back right now. What are the Tigers going to lose this division by at the end of the year? Are we going to be on?
Probably they're going to be battling for the very end.
Probably 4 or 5 games. I don't think it's going to fall within reach. Maybe 2 even. 2. Yeah.
If they're going to go out and take the division lead, they're going to do it in the next couple weeks. You got to keep winning.
Yeah.
Tigers are going against
wins. I think if this team just goes out and wins the majority of their series, I feel like that's what will win this division. No matter what Cleveland does, I feel like Cleveland's going to lose a couple series. The Tigers will steal a couple series, not necessarily sweep, but they'll take 2 out of 3. But I look at it as just opportunity. You got to take advantage of opportunity. You got to take opportunities,
and you cannot fall flat on your face when you meet Cleveland again in that next series. As I do believe you play Cleveland 9 times the rest of the season.
You could take the division from Cleveland. We don't play them till the end of August, but obviously you're finishing off against the White Sox. You got the Mets. That's a big 3-game series. That's still at home.
You're going to see some good pitching.
You're going to see some good Mets. Yeah, because the Mets are still very much in the playoff chase. I'm not going to say that they're out necessarily, but then you got the Mariners. That's a 3-game series. You go on a long road trip. You got the Rangers after that. That's going to be a real tough series. So, I think you're going to win the series against the White Sox. I feel like you can take 2 out of 3 against the Mets. Mariners are going to be tough on the road, and the Rangers, you might lose that series. Who knows? But you got to stay in the thick of things. You got to keep competitive, and you got to be consistent. And we're 10 games over 500. That's the longest. This is the most over 500 we've been all year. Longest winning streak, the most consistent we've been all year. So it's the right time, definitely. But you still got a whole 2 months of baseball left to play. So. Mm-hmm.
A lot of baseball still to be played.
Yep.
But it is exciting. Tigers are winning. Tribe is losing.
That's what's going to get everybody excited. Then who knows what's going to happen in 2 weeks? the Tigers might go on a losing streak again, and it's going to be all falling apart. Oh, them damn Tigers! You know, here you go getting our hopes up. So let's hope we don't hear that or see that. But for right now, let's just enjoy winning baseball and
trying to be optimistic
as the playoffs are approaching. So there's that.
Stress that optimism with the Detroit Tigers.
Moving on from baseball, Michigan Wolverines released their Jumpman Nike Jordan jerseys, and I'm pretty excited for these. They look pretty badass. I like how they went with the matte style, the darker blue helmets. They went back to the more maize color, the real maize yellow. It's not so much gold; it's more of that maize yellow color, and I like it.
Maize and blue.
Yeah, you know, I'm Michigan.
I know you are.
And we both are. We're both more Michigan than Spartan, definitely. But I like these jerseys, and I think that with coming from this is a team that is poised to win the national championship or picked to win it.
Oh yeah, they're supposed to go undefeated, Eric. Haven't you heard?
No, well we said last week our picks, but I have them losing to Ohio State, which might cost them that national championship bid. But
now here's the thing. I know the jerseys are making headlines
because they were with Adidas for many years. Yeah.
And what I find just absolutely hilarious about this is Emden opening up at midnight and thousands of people rushing in there to get a shirt
jerseys,
or a jersey or whatnot that says Nike on it instead of Adidas.
Well, it's the Jordan, it's the Jumpman, it's the Jordan brand. It's gonna be on there. Yeah.
I'm sorry, and I'll pause for a moment. But I could give two shits if it's a Nike or Adidas jersey. I'm sorry. I don't care what company makes the jerseys.
Yeah.
What I care about is what you do on that field.
Yeah.
I don't care
There's
if
a lot
Nike,
of money.
Adidas,
There's a lot
Reebok,
of money involved.
Or Joe's Pool Hall makes your jerseys.
Well, because Nike is very prominent. Nike obviously sponsors, the NFL. And a lot of teams in college are converting from Adidas to Nike. Mm-hmm. So I think this was more about the Wolverines getting with the times because they've had Adidas for many years.
Getting with the times.
Yeah.
Because Michigan's all about the pride and, and the vintage jerseys.
I mean, they're great jerseys. Obviously,
jerseys.
I'm not going to own a Jumpman jersey, but.
So you weren't one of those folks at Emden at 12 o'clock?
No, sir.
Spending your
paychecks?
No, sir.
I'm all about my sleep. I'm not going to go to Emden. I have no desire.
I don't know
that.
if it's the fact that I wouldn't care if it was the Tigers switching to Nike. I wouldn't care if it was the Red Wings switching from Reebok to Nike or whatnot. It doesn't really matter that much to me. Like, I've seen the jerseys, and they are pretty cool.
Right.
They're pretty neat to look at.
Yeah.
But jerseys are one thing. I'm all about what you do on the field.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how flashy you look. It's how good you are. And I get it. People are excited. Ooh, Nike, yeah, Nike. Whoopie-doo. Jordan's brand. It is what it is.
It's all about that sponsorship. It's all about marketing.
That sponsorship.
Yep.
And then here's the thing. You're going to go to the big house for $75 a pop?
That's why I've not been. That's why I've not been to a Michigan game.
I know they just held a big soccer game. Was
yes.
it Chelsea and... I couldn't tell you who it was at the big house. And I know that was drawing huge waves.
Yes.
That soccer game.
That
was
it was.
At the big house recently.
Yep. Well, women's soccer just won 3-0 today. Olympics.
There you go. That's another thing that starts this Friday. Olympic
Friday,
games.
Yep. Well, the games have already started because they have so many sports to get through that they actually have to start it before the opening ceremonies. But 2 weeks of the Olympics in Rio. Don't bring home don't bring back that disease.
Zika.
Yeah, Zika virus. Meanwhile, Chicago just tied at 1-1, top of the 7th. You'll never guess who homered off of Michael Fulmer, a guy that used to be
Garcia.
No, we saw what he did yesterday.
Oh, that was a missile.
This is somebody that used to. It was on a certain M&M team for the Minnesota Twins.
Melky Cabrera.
No, Minnesota Twins with Joe Mauer and this
Morneau.
Justin Morneau just got his third home run on a line drive off of Michael Fulmer.
I think you're going to say Melky Cabrera.
No, Melky Cabrera grounded out, but Fulmer, I don't know. I guess he's still in the game. I thought they were going to pull him, but they're in the 7th, 2 outs, and he just walked. Who did he just walk? Oh, he just walked Todd Frazier. So this will probably more than likely be his last inning.
So going back on the Michigan thing.
Yeah.
Now, am I just being? I'm not grouchy. I'm in a wonderful mood.
Yes.
But is the fact? Should I really care about a jersey?
No.
Does it really make a difference?
No,
I don't
because if
want
you're
to
one of
sound
those
like a
guys,
certain
if you're not a marketing,
97
if you're not a
host.
guy that's all about marketing and style, I mean, honestly, look at the Red Wings. They've proven that they can still win with the same old-fashioned jerseys they've had for the last 50 years.
But it has changed around from
a little
CCM to, different makers.
Reebok.
CCM, Reebok, or whatever. Yeah. Now that they're so thin, they rip really easily. So there's
I still have my old CCM jersey.
I
love CCM. I feel like CCM that should be the standard for hockey jerseys, not Reebok.
Reebok is the hockey supplier.
It is. But I mean, their jerseys, I don't like really the material. I like CCM. I just feel like those were better made.
They say Reeboks are more breathable.
Yeah.
They're a little bit more.
And then didn't they have another one too? It was called like Coho. Yeah, Coho, I think, does the road jerseys. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'm
sponsorship.
I am. It is, dude. There's talks that hockey jerseys might even have logos on them, like they do with sponsorships.
Like they do in Russia.
Yeah, the SM LIGA leagues and stuff. Yeah, semi leagues. Yeah, so.
KHL.
I'm like 95% about what you do on the field, maybe 5% about what you look like. I mean, Michigan has the most iconic jersey in all of college football history because they've been around the longest. But
you're going to be excited when Jake Butt takes the field in that Nike uni, aren't you?
That Nike Jumpman jersey is going to be looking fresh as hell. Yeah. Not really. But go blue. We'll talk more about that as football. Football is actually, I believe, starting up this weekend. I feel like they've been doing training camps and
this is the final
Allen Park. Yeah, I think this is the final weekend without football.
Are you ready for some football?
Yeah. Usually the end of August is when kind of it starts to ramp up.
Before you know it, hockey will be here.
Yeah, hockey will be here early October. So can't wait for that. Moving on from some football, we can talk a little bit about wrestling before we talk about Suicide Squad. I know we were going to talk about Suicide Squad. We'll end the show with that talk. But WWE news, second week of the new era SmackDown and Raw.
The new era.
The new era, as they keep on billing it. What'd you think? I thought Raw, once again, trumped SmackDown. We got to see Finn Balor face-to-face with Seth Rollins, cut an amazing promo. The match is going to be just as amazing as the promos have been.
They're going to continue to hype this up, and it's going to get more and more just interesting, and it's going to make you really wonder who gets the better of who on that final week before SummerSlam, Balor or Rollins. But either way,
I feel like Rollins
obviously, unless you've been living under a rock, you know I'm a huge Balor supporter.
I feel like Rollins won that promo. I feel like he got the better of Finn.
He did,
and I think they're going to. I feel like if whoever gets the last say or the last laugh will probably win the championship.
Alrighty, we're suddenly having thunderstorms.
God.
But
these days, this is what I hate about when you go on a site and you don't expect an ad to pop up. It's just terrible. You can't go on anywhere without a damn ad popping out of nowhere.
Just as we said earlier, advertisement is king in all sports.
And you're not going to click on it. You would think the internet and these sites would be smart to not have these because I'm not going to be clicking on your advertisement.
Absolutely not. Clickbait, Derek. Come on.
Very much so, clickbait.
But Finn Balor, is it his time yet? I don't believe it is quite yet.
They're giving him a hell of a rub because I believe that this is true, that no superstars ever main evented their very first pay-per-view, and it's SummerSlam.
Won SummerSlam.
Yeah. No, not even just one, but just main evented. I mean, The Rock never did that. Stone Cold never did that. It took them at least a good year to get to main event status, and Finn Balor comes up here and he's already in main event status. Like, it's crazy.
Now, is that going to be kind of hogwash in the locker room? Is he going to be getting a lot of bad?
No, because I feel like he has that respect from guys in the locker room, guys that are mid card,
and a lot of people know who he is.
Yeah,
it's not like
to me it's no different than like AJ Styles. You know, AJ Styles has been around the game for 15 years. He's only been in WWE for a short time, but he's a veteran when it comes to wrestling. Finn Balor is 33 years old, I think. So he's a guy that's been around the reins of wrestling for many years. So they're not. It's just a shame that they got discovered by WWE so late in their careers. But
he spent a lot of time in Japan.
Yeah, that's where that's where he became like the entire wrestling machine that he is, because he learned so much over there and floating around, and that's where you really get to like execute your style.
Strong style.
Yeah, and then you got Nakamura
and Tajiri
well, I heard that Hideo Itami is returning tonight on NXT.
Hideo Itami is back on NXT.
Can you wait to see them two fight? I feel like that's going to be the title match. that sends Nakamura to WWE. I feel like he will be the champion. We're going to see Shinsuke versus Hideo Itami, and that's going to be your call-up right there. You know that's going to be that's going to be the match that everybody wants to see.
I think you got a little bit of weight on Shinsuke Nakamura. I think you see Joe before you say.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Joe is obviously going to lose the belt to Nakamura. Joe's going to get called up here, probably like around Survivor Series time. I feel like, we got SummerSlam now, but just in 2 short months, maybe 3 months, we're going to see Survivor Series, and I feel like the depth on the rosters for Raw and SmackDown, you're not going to be bringing back a bunch of old guys. We've already seen the returns of Jinder Mahal and Rhino, and I feel like Tommy Dreamer is going to be coming up here soon. So I mean, we're going to see Shelton Benjamin coming back on SmackDown. So
this is why SmackDown is terrible, and this is why I will watch SmackDown, but I will watch it going f the whole show, because I don't want to see Shelton Benjamin. I don't want to see Jinder Mahal. I don't want to see Tommy Dreamer. These guys, I don't want to see any of these guys. I want to see the top young talented guys work their way through, give new talent an opportunity. I don't want to see guys that have already had their time in the spotlight to come back.
And I agree with that, and that's why I like the draft.
And I get it, you're bringing in Shelton Benjamin
to
fill
put
a
over,
roster spot.
and to put over the young guys.
And for roster depth. But the thing is if you want more people in the active roster,
call up some more NXT guys.
Call up NXT guys.
You're not going to lose your audience. I feel like they were so cautious with who they call up. I mean, call up
Nia. You're going to lose some audience members.
Nia Jax gets called up. Bad decision. You bring up Carmella. Okay. Women's wrestling is already big as it is. I feel like you only need to bring up a couple girls. But Bayley could have gotten brought up. Bayley and Carmella both could have gotten brought up, and still NXT would have flourished because they have so much young talent that's waiting to take over those spots in NXT. Same thing with, you could have brought up Nakamura. Put him on SmackDown. My God, the depth is lacking so much on both of these shows. It ain't like 2000. We talked about this. It is not like 2001 when you had all that talent. WCW, ECW, WWF. You had all these guys back in the day that needed a spot to go, and that's why the draft worked for those couple years back in the day. Nowadays, it's like you're scrounging around to try to find. Look at you finally get Mark Henry. You get him some airtime on Raw against Rusev. Gets demolished. I knew that was going to happen. It happened months ago before they had the brand extension. So, I guess
these squash matches.
The squash matches between, you had that one, and then you had the Braun Strowman squash match, and you got.
It was like a squash match every week now.
That worked back in the day with guys like Goldberg.
King Kong Bundy.
Yeah, Goldberg, King Kong Bundy. It worked for Ryback for a short time. His gimmick was just stale. He was a twinning Goldberg. It wasn't going to do anything. But Strowman, I feel like, has some potential to be a better wrestler, not just a big guy. I feel like Vince has something in Strowman. His look, he did change his look a little bit. He did the hairdo thing. I think Braun Strowman can be like another Rusev. I feel like you could put some gold on him. Mm-hmm. Mid-card gold.
No, we talked a lot about Strowman in the past couple weeks. I want to bring up another name that is one that I enjoy personally.
Can I get? Is it a big guy?
It is a big guy.
Can I guess who it is?
Yes.
Is he on SmackDown?
I believe he is.
Well,
Kevin Owens.
Yeah, Kevin Owens.
Now, where does Kevin Owens go from here? Obviously,
Owens is on Raw, I believe.
I didn't even see Kevin Owens.
Well,
Where's Kevin Owens been?
No, Kevin Owens was on Raw. Remember, he came out and did the commentary thing. He stole Saxon's tie.
Okay, where was he in the ring?
He wasn't.
Kevin Owens is best when he's in the ring, doing what he does.
Well, Sami Zayn had a match with Seth Rollins that night, which I don't know what.
How much longer can you possibly? And the matches are absolutely sensational. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love the feud between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but it's getting stale.
It is. That's why you have to do like a loser leaves Raw match at SummerSlam. That feud is not over yet because Kevin Owens doesn't have a feud right now. He has a little thing where he has like Chris Jericho's back or whatever. Like I don't know where that's going to go to, but
so that was my question: is where do you go with Kevin Owens? Do you want to keep having him face Sami Zayn until one of them gets injured?
He's mid card right now. I don't want to say he is, but he is. The reality of it is he's mid card material right now. He's not going to be. He's no higher than where Roman Reigns is right now, and we'll talk about Roman Reigns in a second. But Kevin Owens, to me, hasn't really won over management to put him in like main event statuses right now. He's a U.S. title hopeful. He will stay there for a while.
Then you have him go against Rusev, but that's different shows.
Well, no.
Oh, no, they're both
No,
Raw.
Rusev.
You know, the whole brand extension thing just drives me insane because I don't know.
You haven't figured out who's on both shows yet. You got to watch them both for a
shows.
few weeks. I mean, I obviously know the big guys who the big talent that are on Raw. You got.
That's why I hate the brand
Yeah,
extension.
you got Seth Rollins, you got Roman Reigns, you got Rusev, Kevin Owens, Cesaro. You know, you got and then of course you got the New Day on Raw. So you got your prominent talent on Raw. Your biggest names you got on SmackDown are the big three. You got Dean Ambrose, John Cena, and AJ Styles. Those are your big three.
Taking time off.
Yes, and AJ Styles will probably beat him at SummerSlam.
So that makes SmackDown even more weak without John Cena. And I know John Cena is loved and he's hated, but John Cena is a guy that you pay your $45.
He has earned respect of many people. I feel like you're hearing less boos out of John Cena because you needed John Cena to be gone to appreciate him more. Because the same haters that booed the hell out of him that say Cena sucks.
John Cena's getting tons of publicity.
Yes, he has. He hosted the video or the Teen Awards.
Teen Choice Awards.
Yeah, Teen Choice Awards. He did that Hillary Clinton skit. The ESPYs. He had a really good monologue at the ESPYs. So he's still that face. I mean, you don't see anybody doing as many public appearances for WWE than John Cena, and I feel like that was what The Rock did back when he was in his prime.
Is he slowly becoming The Rock?
Yeah.
But John Cena is more
He'll always
in
be
love
here.
with wrestling,
Yes.
as he says. Than
He said he will always put wrestling ahead of Hollywood. And The Rock, unfortunately, he had his 5-6 years of glory in the wrestling ring. He'll come back maybe once a year now and do like one-off matches or one-off appearances, but for the most part, John Cena is going to continue, I feel like, well into his 40s. I mean, I think John Cena is 41, 42 now. I feel like John Cena will probably be well into his late 40s and still be wrestling. Part-time.
The biggest concern with Cena is he's had some big injuries.
Yes.
The rotator cuff injury was huge. He's had a lot of, he's had neck injuries. So, he's probably kind of one injury away from hanging it up. Unfortunately, I hate to be that guy.
No, you're right.
But he is getting older.
And I mean, he ain't gonna. I mean, he's still a bodybuilder guy. He's a big guy, but I feel like his routine, he's not gonna be deadlifting 600 pounds like he was years ago. I mean, he's got to be really careful on his body. I'm not saying he's as fragile as a guy like Randy Orton, but his body's got to be taking its toll on him. I mean, there's guys but then you got a guy like Kane, who's 50 and he still feels great. Kane is in some of the best shape of his career, and he still says I have no intentions of retiring anytime soon. So
good for
Kane's going to keep going. I mean, he's not.
Fortunately for Kane, though, he doesn't have
no
storyline.
stories. No story for Kane. It's unfortunate, but that's when when you're 50, you got to be pushed aside for these youngsters that are coming up for the new era. So I get it.
Then here's what you do with Kane. And we
do?
talked about this on our pre-show discussion. You put Kane against Baron Corbin, and you let
Baron Corbin go over on him.
And you let Baron Corbin go over on him.
Yeah.
But you got to make sure Kane is a monster.
That's the thing. I mean, Baron Corbin, we just talked about this guy before the show, how he's dropped a lot of weight. When he was playing football as a lineman, he was, I believe, 200 and... I think I read he was 320 pounds. He's now down to 275. So he's definitely got his weight lowered. He's not a ripped guy. He's got a little stomach on him. But, Baron Corbin's a guy that I feel has a good look. He can't talk that well, but I love his music. I like his character. And
the lone wolf.
the lone wolf. I mean, hell, I think he should come out riding a motorcycle. Personally, I feel like you're not ripping. Come out in a chopper or something. You're not going to rip off the Undertaker's gimmick. He was the American Badass, but the lone wolf, a guy like Corbin, hell, the beginning of his song is a motorcycle, right? So I feel like he needs to come out either in a Harley or a chopper or something. So. I mean, I'm not sold on Baron Corbin just yet because we haven't seen a lot of him. And the guy, he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania. Great. That was a good rub for his career early, but you got to put him in a feud with somebody of either a caliber of the Big Show or Kane. Somebody that is just willing to put a guy over like Baron Corbin and give him some gold. I mean, I'd like to see him. I mean, right now, having just the U.S. title and the tag team titles, and then you're going to have the cruiserweights, but that's different. That's a whole other league. But you're right now, Baron Corbin is not world champion material, but he is U.S. title material. And now we're seeing this with Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns, I feel like this is not a downgrade necessarily. I feel like this is something that they need to do with Roman Reigns after WrestleMania 31. After 2015, when he was in that match, I feel like when he lost to Seth Rollins, that's where they should have taken him. They should have put him in the mid-card and build him back up. By them shoving him down our throats and throwing him right into the title picture 2 years in a row, wrong decision. Creative dropped the ball there. So by doing this, and you're putting him into a feud with Rusev, who is one of the most hated heels in the company, when you have Roman haters that are actually cheering Roman and booing Rusev, that is smart.
That is
and
what
Vince,
you want.
and this is Vince backstage like, this is what I should have done all along, you know,
Yeah.
like, yes.
Rusev, we all
Hello.
hate Rusev. Why? Because Rusev is a big guy
With a beautiful
and
woman.
He's with a beautiful
And he
woman,
hates America.
And he's actually married to her.
And he hates America, the character.
And hates America, even though he's from Nashville, Tennessee.
Well, he's from Bulgaria, but he resides in Nashville. Yes, but you know, it's a great gimmick. I mean, I'm a Rusev fan. I like Rusev.
I do like Rusev.
I feel like when you put the U.S.
Great
title on
performer.
him, yeah, he is. I mean, for a bigger guy, he's got, you know, he can talk. He's got a mouthpiece in Lana when need be, and she shoves it down everybody's throat that they are now married. He is no longer my fiance. He is my husband. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just like the Miz. Isn't it ironic that the two mid-card championships are the most arrogant guys, the most hated, but they have the most
And
beautiful
the Miz,
women?
And the Miz will stay
Maurice.
in WWE because he's so good in the mic.
He
The
is.
Miz
Very
might not-
underrated.
the Miz-
Underrated.
The Miz is a very underrated guy. I don't like him, but he's
You
a
have your
guy-
reasons.
Well, yeah, I met the guy in person.
He was
but
in character.
He is a guy that is absolutely amazing with the microphone.
Yes, absolutely.
He's able to wrestle anybody and have good quality matches. He's a good performer.
Yes.
He's not going to have any more, I would say, WWE runs, big championship runs.
Like he did at WrestleMania 20,
But
was
he is
27.
He's a guy that could be a main eventer if given the right opportunity. His wrestling skills are not bad. I wouldn't
No,
say
he's not a bad wrestler.
They're
From
great.
coming from a reality TV star back in the day, I mean, he worked his ass off. I mean,
did.
I would love to see a Miz documentary or DVD. I don't think anything's been released on the Miz. They don't really do DVD releases as much as they used to.
They just did one on Scott Hall.
They did Scott Hall's,
That
you know,
was
but
different.
that's his battling addiction, doing DDP yoga, getting back in, you know, same thing with Jake the Snake.
Mm-hmm.
But the Miz, I think I would love to like hear his story, kind of like a Stone Cold Steve Austin aspect, because you know, Miz, I feel like he really put in a lot of work. I mean, you got to think he's a veteran. He's been in the company since 2004. He's been over here, you know, 12 years.
Since we were in high school.
Yes,
He was-
Miz has
yeah,
been here almost as long as John Cena. That's hard to believe. Cena's been around for 15 years. Miz has been around for 12, 13 years. And a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, Miz is still a young guy. He's like 35 years old, but he's been around for a long time. And I still look back and think, like, man, he main evented WrestleMania against John Cena and beat him with help from The Rock. But still, The Miz, I mean, if you find somebody that doesn't really like wrestling a lot and you ask if The Miz main evented WrestleMania, they'd say, hell no.
The Miz? No.
He did.
Yeah, you would not.
Yes.
Begin
Vince
with-
was high on him back in the late 2000s. Vince was very high on the Miz.
Miz is a great talker.
He is.
He's
Great
a great
heel.
heel.
Great
One
heel.
of the best heels. Unfortunately, he needs a guy to go against a mega face
Yeah.
that would make him big again. Mm-hmm. And I like the Miz. I like.
I mean,
the
right now,
character.
you really don't have anybody for the Miz on SmackDown because you had him with Darren Young. I mean, I think they still are doing the Darren, but now I think they're doing the Darren Young Titus feud. I think Titus is turning heel, but the Miz really has no competition in the Intercontinental title picture right now,
Sin Cara.
or Kalisto or whatever.
Kalisto, one of those.
La Luchas.
Oh no! Apollo Crews, #1 contender for the Miz.
You mean Apollo Creed? Did you hear Daniel Bryan flub that up? He called him Apollo Creed. I guess Carl Weathers was in the house last night on SmackDown. Yes. During that whole little opening monologue when they were showing the Randy Orton footage, which is that RKO, spectacular. That was probably the best RKO out of nowhere I've ever seen. Did you see it coming? I didn't see it coming.
For WWE that was so great
Yeah.
is ESPN, Sporting News, Fox
Oh,
Sports.
yeah, they're reporting
all of
it.
them picked that up. And Brock
Well, they have been
Lesnar,
because
Randy
he-
Orton, the match just got bigger. Because all of those picked that up, and Brock Lesnar got RKO'd out of nowhere.
I feel like moving ahead to the Brock Lesnar thing with Randy Orton. Brock Lesnar's going to win that match. There's no doubt in my mind he will. I mean, that RKO is probably the most that's like the most laugh that Orton's going to get over Lesnar. But I feel like WWE is really shooting themselves in the foot by ignoring the PED allegations, by kind of sweeping it under the rug a little bit. He's failed two,
Orton did make a comment.
Oh, I know he did. I mean, they're obviously making it well known in the promos, and that was a scripted promo. That was not like Orton did not pull that one out of his ass. So they're referencing in the PED use and they're making jokes about it, but by not acknowledging it and not being suspended, I mean, he failed a state test.
But the thing is they said something where he is not a full-time performer with WWE. They're not going to.
But still, though, I mean, look at the guy. I know, but I mean, at the same time, he failed two tests. One of which is the same that John Jones got suspended for a year for. So, and you look at Brock, and the guy probably does juice. I mean, come on.
Sure he does.
Would you look at Brock when he returned in 2012? How pudgy he looked. He didn't look. He wasn't very. I mean, he was big. He wasn't toned. But you look at him now. Huge comparison. Way more. I mean, he put on a good 20 pounds of muscle.
He did.
And he might have worked his ass off, but he had help doing it. He definitely had some assistance from PEDs. And, I mean, I'm not a big Brock Lesnar fan by any means. I mean, he's a monster. He's a beast. I don't like how he doesn't use his wrestling moveset. He was a collegiate wrestler, and all he does is do two moves.
Throw people around.
Yep. He does the suplex and he does the F5, and that's all he does.
He just punches you, kicks
you. He's an attraction. But I mean, I guess now, at this stage in his career, he wrestles
he doesn't need to do
three times a year. He gets paid millions of dollars to wrestle 3 times a year and makes some short appearances. He is an attraction. He's not a wrestler no more. He is just an attraction. Gets you a shit ton of money, and that's all he is. So, SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton will not be match of the year by any means, but it will be an attraction.
Randy Orton's going to have to carry
it'll be
that match.
Yeah, it'll be entertaining, but Brock Lesnar will win that match, and we'll see what happens after that. But I like the angle that they did on Raw to close out the show. I did not expect that RKO to come. He apparently was hiding under the ring the whole entire segment. I saw behind the scenes footage of him coming from under the ring and doing that. That was so quick. He did that in like literally 2 seconds. And then on SmackDown with Orton, Brock. I mean, it's going to go like that for week to week, but I like the invasion of both shows, doing that little angle, but we'll see what happens. But not really looking forward to that match too much. I think it's more solely
the match that's going to be hyped the most.
It will be. It's the most publicized. Yeah, it's
the biggest match.
It is the most publicized match because of the two names that are in it, but not for the wrestling purposes at all. But that's just the way it is. So, moving on from wrestling, we're going to close out the show with a little bit of Suicide Squad talk, and we talked about this before the show went live. Is that Suicide Squad has been getting panned big time by critics on Rotten Tomatoes and Internet Movie Database, and just everybody that's reviewing this movie, they're saying that Jared Leto did not live up to his hype. We all thought that this was like going to be the best Joker performance since Heath Ledger, and it doesn't live up to the hype from what I've been reading. They feel like, you got Harley Quinn.
Now here's the thing with that.
Yeah.
Okay, no one is going to top Heath Ledger's
Of course not. If you go into that.
And you can't go into that looking and watching The Dark Knight countless times. If you're that actor, you're going to get tons and tons of criticism left and right every single day of your life. You got to ignore that. You got to go out there and be different. You cannot be the same Joker as Heath Ledger.
And he is different.
And he is. The whole look is completely different. He looks more thuggish, streetish.
Yeah.
Which I am not going to go off Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not going to go after internet databases or whatever it is.
Well, they're actually giving it 8 out of 10. I'll give them credit. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 33%, which is considered very rotten for a movie.
Rotten Tomatoes is just...
Dude,
I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes
they gave Jurassic World, I think, like a 60% approval. I mean, I don't give them any credit. They've given movies 190% approval.
What'd they give Sharknado? Type that in right now. I'm curious. I'm invested in the fact I want to know what they gave Sharknado.
22%.
The newest one?
Yes, 22% Rotten Tomato. The Force Awakens. I mean, it's a low budget horror movie.
So there you have it.
And it didn't even make it to theaters. So I think Rotten Tomatoes probably took one look at the freaking poster, which is a very, very big parody off of Star Wars.
Yes.
But
back to Suicide Squad. I just want to
Sharknado.
I just want to throw that in there. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to go off of different people's opinions. I'm one of those guys that I will see it, I will break it down. I am not going to be that guy that goes in there with that attitude where these people do.
Are you going to see it
I don't
this
want
week?
to put words in people's mouths.
Are you going to see it this week?
I would like to see it Saturday or Sunday.
All right, so hopefully for next week's show.
So I'm not going to be one of those people that goes in the movie theater like, yeah, I know Jared Leto is never going to be able to top Heath Ledger's performance.
I was really...
Yes, he's not.
Yeah, no.
But you got to go in there with the expectations of you got to give him a chance to flourish in the Joker role.
He probably watched every Dark... he probably watched Dark Knight.
He watched it.
He probably was studying everything.
With this movie coming out and also The Killing Joke, the comic book turn...
That was what Heath Ledger...
came out.
That was what Heath Ledger's based his off of, was The Killing Joke.
So the Killing Joke just came out this week.
Yes.
Came from the comic book, and now it's on DVD and Blu-ray, which I would love to check that out. I know it was in actually select cinemas, so I did not happen to check that out, but I would like to see that, pick that up at a video store.
I got a breaking news alert for you.
Oh, yeah?
2-1 Tigers. Guess who hit the home run?
Miguel Cabrera.
Guess who is back? J.D. Martinez off the bat. Mr. He'll struggle. First at bat. Boom. Center field. First pitch.
Really?
First pitch. Home run for J.D.
That is a wonderful sign, but don't count your chickens.
I know.
before they hatch.
It is the bottom of the eighth, which means now you're going to bring in Frankie to try to save it. And he did it off of Chris Sale.
It's a nice sign,
boy.
but I'm not going to get too excited quite yet. But it is a very nice sign. But it's one at bat.
Oh, I know. But this could prove out to be a pivotal
Chris
game.
Sale hitting that first at bat against Chris Sale home run.
Yes.
That's a very encouraging sign for J.D.
Chris,
Martinez.
it's a shame for Chris Sale. I mean, my God.
But sticking with Suicide Squad
Going back
here,
to Suicide, I'm sorry, I had to do a live update.
completely cool. But with Suicide Squad, are you going in with the fact, knowing that Jared Leto's Joker is obviously not going to top Heath Ledger's?
No.
You got to go in there saying, okay, I'm ready to be shocked. I'm ready to be optimistic about this. Give him the opportunity to wow you. Going into that movie, The Dark Knight, you heard
We saw
things.
snippets of it because, Heath Ledger had died. We already knew that. But I went into Dark Knight not even thinking how good it was going to be. It got good reviews from the get-go, but I went in there with low expectations because
I think I've seen that movie like 5 or 6 times.
I saw it, yes.
That's outrageous.
I saw it 3 times in the theater. I saw it twice in the theater. I saw it at the drive-in. So that movie to this day is right up there. I mean, that's like my top 3 favorite movie of all time.
is.
And
One of mine as
that
well.
was the first Batman movie that I saw probably since Batman and Robin, because I didn't see Batman Begins. I wasn't a fan of Batman Begins. So, I loved Dark Knight. And now to go into here with Suicide Squad, hearing all the critics panning it, I don't know, man. I mean, it seems like it'll be a decent movie. It's more comic book related, very comic book related, but I'm not
here's what's
I'm not a fan of Will Smith as Deadshot. I'm not a fan of Will Smith. I mean, it's like, really, another movie with Will Smith? Does this guy have to be in every damn movie? Seriously? He passed up Independence Day because he wanted too much money, but he films this thing. I mean, really?
That's Will Smith. But
I mean, I'm looking forward to Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I feel like that's
I knew you were going to
be
that.
yeah.
Here's what this movie is so many people are looking at Harley Quinn, as you said, that actress.
Yes.
Marlette, what do you say?
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
I know she played, she was also in Tarzan
yes.
with Alexander Skarsgård.
She was also in The Wolf of Wall Street. That's where she's
that's where
she's
so
famous
there you have
from.
it. She's all over the place. But she is a attractive female, and Harley Quinn is, I think the Joker is playing second fiddle in this movie.
Yeah, the Harley.
Where Harley Quinn was not in The Dark Knight.
Well, Harley Quinn's the good one in this, right? She's good?
No, she's not good.
Oh, I thought she was good.
No, Harley
my
Quinn's
bad.
not good.
Oh, my bad.
But with this movie, I think everybody's looking forward to seeing Harley Quinn and the performance that she gives.
Isn't she the Joker's lover?
Friend, girlfriend, whatever you want to call them, yes. But I think that takes away from some of what the Joker is. What Jared Leto brings to the table. I think a lot of the eyes will be on her.
Right.
On her performance, because she's so billed, and all the posters are with her, and all the talk is with her. But then there's Jared Leto, and it's, what did you do wrong? What did you butcher? How did you say your words? How did you laugh?
The thing is with Jared Leto is that back when like all the trailers were coming out for this, and we were seeing screenshots of what his Joker looked like, everybody was like, "Oh my God, it looks amazing." So what happened? Like, where did these like supporters and lovers turn into haters? I mean, I really don't get it.
See, I'm gonna see this movie, and I'm gonna go into the theater.
You're gonna give your honest opinion.
I'll give my honest opinion. Maybe on next week's show or a Facebook Live video.
You and I were not big fans of Batman vs Superman. Were you a fan of that?
I liked it. I gave it. You know, I thought great, it was, but I thought it was good.
No, it definitely was not up there with Dark Knight or even Dark Knight Rises. It was probably third best to that. I'm not a big Superman fan. You and I both. I don't think we're both. I don't think you're are you a big Superman fan?
No.
Not as much as Batman.
I am a Batman, Spider-Man guy. I know that's cross-branding between DC and Marvel, but I'm a big Batman guy. Batman was always my favorite superhero growing up, and I think that I don't know what Suicide Squad has in store, but I did see in a trailer that Batman made a quick cameo or appearance or whatnot. So I believe there's some sort of story that sets up the next Batman movie, which is likely going to have Jared Leto as the Joker.
I was going to say,
and Ben Affleck as Batman.
Well, I was going to say, like, because it's, they're going to go with the whole, Suicide Squad gimmick. Because I thought Batman was going to be making an appearance in this movie.
I believe he is.
And I don't know if that's the truth. I don't know if it's a cameo or what the deal is, because it must not be a big role, because I haven't seen anybody in line or even saying that who's going to be playing Batman.
Well, I'm staying away from all the comment sections and all the blogs and everything like that. I do not want this movie to be spoiled for me. And all I keep hearing is negativity about it. So
but that just makes you go into it thinking like, I'm going to prove the critics wrong. This should be a decent movie, and hopefully, by next week you'll give a decent review on it. So
no, I'm not thinking that this movie is going to be bad by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. I'm looking forward to it, and I will see it probably this weekend, and I'm excited to see it. I've been excited to see this for months now. This is one of those movies that I couldn't wait to see. I believe it actually comes out tomorrow.
August 5th, Friday. Well, technically tomorrow.
They have 6 o'clock showings at your local cinema, so there you go. But that's going to be absolutely crazy.
For all the comic book geeks out there, I mean, definitely, I think it's going to be a big deal. I think it'll be good box office. It'll probably gross about $600 or $700 million.
It's going to be the box office smash of the weekend. It's not going against anything.
No, nothing really big right now.
There you have that. It doesn't have any competition. It's not going against a Marvel movie. So it's going to own the box office for the next probably couple weeks.
Oh, and apparently I just found out Ben Affleck does play Batman in this movie. Very, very small role, but he will be in there as Batman. So
there you go. Now, did you want to have a quick final, or I don't believe it's final, but Tiger update before we go off the air?
Oh, let's see what we got here. God, I'm still reeling from the JD home run. I thought that was great.
Reeling.
Still 2-1. Miguel Cabrera currently up to bat. Let me just see if there's anything live here. I want to see if there's a live update.
So
still in the bottom. Yeah, I guess they're still in the bottom of the 8th. That's just ended. End of the 8th. So now we're going into the top of the 9th with Frankie to try to close it out.
Coming in.
Yes, sir.
Buckle up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Very, very interesting.
Keep your fingers crossed.
Let me see who the White Sox got coming up here in the 9th inning. Let's see if it pulls it up.
It should.
I'm having a hard time loading Game Day right now.
Game Day is extremely slow.
It is. Very slow.
MLB.com's a little bit. There's tons of games going on right now. So that's
Game Center scores. Yeah, it's not letting me to. Yeah, I'm not really sure who's up next. But
do you have plans of seeing Suicide Squad?
Eventually, yeah. I'd like to go see it in the theaters, definitely.
And I know you gave me some heat for this, since we're just kind of small chatting right now.
Yes.
I actually picked up a book today.
Meg.
The Westland Public Library. Yeah, I know you're like, who reads anymore? Who reads books? But this is what's wrong with society. Nobody's reading. Everybody's on their iPads and their phones and whatnot.
Kindles are. It's the same as reading,
Nothing beats picking up a nice
good book.
Good
paperback.
And opening up and smelling the fresh printed pages.
Well, that book looked like it was hit pretty well.
Well, yes, I think it was published in 1997. Meg, written by Steve Elton, I do believe, is actually going to be a motion picture. So get ready for that.
We'll see what happens.
And yes, it's going to be coming to theaters. It's not going to be like Sharknado. Lining up, I think it's 2018. They're expecting it to come out. So I'm looking forward to that. So I did want to check out the book. It is about a megalodon shark, in case you're thinking it's about some woman or something.
Named Meg, yeah.
Some woman named Meg. So so far, so good with it. I actually picked up a book. I can't tell you the last time, besides a college book that I had to read.
I was going to say, I was going to say maybe 30 Days of Night.
That was probably the book I read as a hobby. That I was not forced into reading.
Thinking, yeah.
Besides a college educational book that I had to pick up and read for college purposes.
Something that you had to be forced to read, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. I was told to check it out.
Good.
And so far, it sounds pretty intriguing. I'm not a guy that likes to do a lot of reading. I think maybe the comic book is what I'm into. But I know there's a new Harry Potter book that everybody's talking about right now.
You lost me there.
Lost you there?
Yeah, not a big Harry Potter. I'm not a wizard guy, man. I don't like Pokemon. I don't like wizards. You know, the last book.
I know that.
You want to know the last book I probably read was probably Twilight. I read back when the Twilight series was huge. Oh yeah, I read the Twilight series. Yep, back when
I read the first one.
I read the first one. I didn't read New Moon, but I read the last two. So
I think I read the first 4 Harry Potter books.
Good.
Then I got to the 4th one, Goblet of Fire, and I was like, oh no,
I couldn't even watch the
pages
to watch. Watch the movies, let alone read like a 700-page book.
Yeah,
couldn't do
exactly.
it.
I was like, no, thank you.
All right, well, we're probably going to call this one a show. Go Tigers! Hopefully, Frankie can close it out here in the 9th inning, and we'll be on our way
Tune
to
in the Olympics on Friday too. 7 o'clock, 7:30
on NBC for the opening ceremonies in Rio. Just do not bring back the Zika virus, please. And with that, we are going to call this one a show. So, cheers, plastic and glass clinking together.
And glass.
And we will see you guys next week. Have a good night.